Hello, I'm a BX Toycat and welcome back to another top 5 video. Today I have one of the most requested top 5s on my channel, and that is a top 5 updates video for Minecraft, Xbox and PlayStation. So of course we'll be focusing on the Xbox 360 because that has been around for the longest and has almost 30 updates now with TU30 approaching, and I figured I would go through my 5 favourite updates in terms of what they added to the game by themselves. Because obviously the best update's always going to be the most recent one because it has all of them in one, but yeah, this is the top 5 updates ranked by kind of what they added to the game in my opinion, of course. So please do like the video if you do like it, because it helps out the channel a lot, and lets me know you want to see more stuff like this on the channel. But let's get straight into this one already, shall we, with the 5th favourite update of all time on Minecraft console, and for me that update has to be Title Update 3. So Title Update 3 came out a long time ago, and Minecraft console was way smaller. It was just one console, it had like 1/10 the sales it does now, and it also wasn't even called TU3 at the time. They called them by the PC version numbers, and this was 1.7.3 beta from the PC ported over to the console. And the really cool thing about this update to me was not necessarily the contents of the update, but the fact that, first of all, for me, I didn't know that updates were going to be this regular thing. My friend just one day tells me, oh, they're working on this cool update with pistons and stuff. And I'm like, question mark? And then it turns out, like literally less than 2 months after the game launches, the first update's already out. It's got pistons, it's got sticky pistons, it's got the ability to shear sheep, shear leaves, it's got, a lot, they fixed TNT, they fixed a bunch of stuff, they added in skin packs, they changed some textures, they made fences finally stack, because before, fences were their own entities, and you had to, fill up your inventory with them. It made just a lot of things easier for you, and it also brought in some more creativity with the pistons thing. It was a reasonably small update, but again, the speed it came out with was just so cool to me, and that's why this has got to be number 5, because even though it is a small update, I don't think we've ever had a full feature update, less than 2 months after a previous one, because again, this was just a little bit after the game launch, and that's why I like this update so much. It wasn't massive, but the speed and the kind of signal of things to come was awesome, and it kind of signaled to me that Minecraft is going to keep on expanding, and it still is today, more than 3 years later, because this update did actually come out in July of 2012, which is weird just how long ago that is. But yeah, that is my 5th favourite update. Let's move on to the 4th favourite. So, it's not going to be the one directly following from this. In fact, it's going to be one reasonably recently, because Title Update 12. So, Title Update 12, or the equivalent of 1.2 from the PC, was actually one of the most anticipated updates, because it's one of the very few updates that's ever come out in August, like summertime, where everyone's all playing and stuff. And the cool thing about Title Update 12 is that it actually brought in the latest new biome that I think the game has had until this next new update. So we've been 18 updates for that biome, and this one finally brought it. And people were really, really pumped about the jungle. I was kind of in the same thing too, because, it was going to change the world. There was going to be a new type of wood. There was going to be all these things you could build with it. And yeah, it was very exciting for that reason, having this new wood, having this new biome. But also it just had a lot of fundamental changes from the PC that were just pretty cool. So stuff like the height limit. If you don't know, the height limit used to be 128. Now it's 256. Stuff like being able to pick cocoa beans without having to go into chests. Stuff like, being able to place stairs upside down, I believe, came in this update. All these different things came in Title Update 12, and it was pretty cool for that reason. Also, another couple big ones are the ocelot actually came in, so if you wanted to tame a cat, that was something you could do. There was a lot of, troubles as how do you do it, but it was still a thing that happened. And in general, I think the biggest other change, other than those ones I mentioned there, is probably the texture pack and mashup pack support. This is the first time where they're like, okay, we had skin packs a year ago, of Title Update 3, like I was just mentioning. Okay, let's do texture packs and mashup packs. And, texture packs are, just this novel concept on the console at the time, and mashup packs are a cool concept that aren't anywhere else in Minecraft. It's a console exclusive that are still one of the better console exclusives, in my opinion, and it all came in Title Update 12. So, a lot of, a decent amount of cool stuff at the right time, after a lot of anticipation, made for a pretty cool update, and that's why it's number 4 on the list. But it's not number 3, 2, or 1, so what could possibly make an update better than that, you might be asking? And the answer to your question, or my question to myself, is Title Update 5. So, Title Update 5 is probably, to this day, one of the biggest updates Minecraft Xbox/Minecraft console has ever seen, and it did take something like 4 months from Title Update 3 to Title Update 5, but it was totally worth it, because this was the 1.8.2, or Adventure Mode update, and this was one of the really, really big ones from the PC, and basically, it brought in a lot of fundamental stuff that you might just think is, oh yeah, that's what the game is. So, stuff like being able to sprint, stuff like the hunger bar. Before then, that's not how things worked. It was more like the old Pocket Edition style back then. Stuff like creative mode. If you wanted to go creative, basically you just had to duplicate in survival. That's just what people did. There was no creative. I mean, what else are you going to do? And it's just kind of weird to me that, all these big things that are just a fundamental part of the game all came in there. But also, it wasn't just creative mode, sprinting and stuff like that. There was, I believe they overhauled every single biome, so the entire world generation changed. It was kind of like, TU30, but even more, because, like, before that, the biomes were pretty basic, and after this, the biomes all had their own purposes. A bunch of new blocks. They introduced the stronghold to the game. The End Dragon didn't come for quite a few updates, but they introduced, the ability to find strongholds down there, abandoned mineshafts, so many different blocks and features, villages, even though they weren't popular and stuff. Just basically, it made the world feel different, and it added in a whole new game mode, and it added in a whole new way to play it, and that was really cool for a bunch of reasons. So I think another thing that made this update kind of cool, and it's one of the reasons it sticks out so much, is because, again, like I mentioned, this was just the second big feature update, and since the last one we had was pretty small, people didn't have that high expectations, but after this, it's just like, whoa, that's a lot of things to do, and yeah, I liked it a lot for that reason. I was pretty pumped for this update, and I definitely enjoyed it, and I still have my world from, when I first made it in this update, because, it still hasn't remained that much out of date. So, but yeah, with that said, Tile Update 5 gotta be number 3 on this list for that reason. So what's better than, all these things after, such a short period, you might be wondering, and that answer would be a more anticipated update than even the Adventure Update, and that would have to be Title Update 9. So why was Title Update 9 so anticipated? So the reason for this is because, basically, getting the Ender Dragon to actually function properly on the console was something they're having a lot of problems with, like performance issues, just developmental issues, and they basically decided that they should, split the 1.0, the full release version of Minecraft, into 2 separate updates and kind of make it 1.1 for some of the features in that. And basically the idea behind this was that we'd have Tile Update 7 just a couple of months after Tile Update 5, and then Tile Update 9 would be a bigger update that we'd have to wait to the next year for. So that wasn't too popular at the time. People wanted to fight their dragons, but it still meant that people were getting pumped. Like, you were able to have strongholds in your world, and then this update brought Tile Update 7, brought in the ability to actually get the end portal room. So you had your end portal room, you knew you'd be able to take it to the End Dragon, then you just went crazy. That's why this update was just so anticipated, and it kind of delivered. The Ender Dragon on console is one of the cooler bits of the console, because they took the End Dragon fight from the PC, they decided this isn't good enough, and they just scrapped it. They started again, or they didn't scrap it, but they rebuilt it, they made entirely different logic for the End Dragon, and it's a more fun fight as a result. So yeah, it was a really cool, first taste of a console exclusive, but as well as that, it wasn't just the Ender Dragon. If you don't like slaying your mobs, it had a bunch of new, like blocks and stuff. So the ability to get different types of stairs, as well as the ability to get all those same blocks, netherbrick, spruce, sandstone, etc. in slab form. New music for the End and the Nether. I believe this was the, like the exclusive stuff, like, they made new music for the console End and Nether, and that stuff is still really cool. I love the Nether music on the consoles. I don't know if they have that on the PC yet, but it's still something that's just really, really cool. And they also changed just a bunch of stuff to make it cooler. So, for instance, if you put a spawn egg in the dispenser, it would fire out that mob instead of just the spawn egg. If you put, fire charges in there, it would fire out this fire charge at stuff. And it was a really cool update for that reason. It's definitely got to be number 2, because the End Dragon is still one of the coolest console features. It's so cool, even the PC just had to take it eventually, and they wanted to do it for a long time, and I think they're finally doing it with 1.9, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, that's Tile Update 9, gotta be one of the coolest updates, but it's not the coolest in general, because the title of coolest/best update, in my opinion, has to go to Title Update 19. Why is Title Update 19 so awesome, you might be wondering? Why is it better than all these cool things you just listed? So the reason for that is because it had been a very long time since an update. I think the last update was TU14 at the first half of that year, and it'd been something like 7 months before we'd even... No, it was 6 months before we got hints, and there was the Xbox One and PS4 being delayed stuff, and we were just like, okay, then are there just not updates anymore? And then out of nowhere, they just announced that, oh, this next update's not just going to be 1.4 from the PC, it's going to be 1.4, 1.5, and 1.6. That's right, 3 updates in one, when we've always been expecting 1 or slightly less than 1, and then they just decided to bundle 3 updates into one for this one, and these were 3 really cool updates. This was the Halloween update, which had the Wither boss, one of the coolest features in there, as well as a bunch of, like the Witch, as well as a bunch of other cool changes like that. This was the 1.5 update, the Redstone update, that brought in so many cool Redstone changes. The amount of creativity you can do with that, it's still being, explored on the console, which is really, really cool. And also the 1.6 update, the horse update, the amount of changes in that update was pretty cool, and they just bundled them all together and released them. And on top of that, compared to almost every other update, it was pretty much bug-free. There wasn't like a glitch when you broke the floor below you. There was still, usual just bugs like, redstone stuff happened, stuff like lighting glitches, but it was a very bug-free update, and it just, it came out just before Christmas. It was like a little Christmas miracle. Just so many features all at once. The ability to ride horses, something people want for a long time. All this new redstone stuff. A wither to fight. Just, the wither alone was like this amazing feature, but it had so many other cool things that pretty much no matter what you wanted, whether it's stained clay, whether it's, extra, like the hoppers and all the redstone stuff. There was just something for everyone in this update, and that's why I think it was so cool. It was an amazing update in so many ways, and it kind of sets the trend for what makes an amazing update in Minecraft console, I think. Like, honestly, I'm not sure if there'll be an update as good as this or as big as this for a while. Maybe TU30 lives up to their expectations, but, you know, only time can tell that one. But I think for now, and maybe for a while, Tile Update 19 was the biggest update we've had on Minecraft console, and I definitely would welcome another star one this year. But we'll have to see exactly what happens with that one. I hope you did all enjoy the video either way. Please do like it if you did like it, share it if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here. I make videos like this every single day on my channel, and if subscribed, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Let me know what your favourite update of all time was. Was it the one that you first got into? Was it just an update you particularly liked? Like, did you really like Tile Update 5 and the Adventure Update? Let me know in the comments down below. That's what they're there for, and I love to read what you guys have to say about that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.